traditional. That's what it says right here on this chicken. But I bet your mom's recipe didn't call for carrageenan and dextrose alongside the salt and pepper. This chicken right here in my hands, 22 ingredients. I bought it specifically for this video because I wanted you to see it. And here's the thing. The chicken isn't even close to the worst offender I'm going to show you today. Giant food brands spend tons of money on the front of the package, the part designed to make you feel like you're making a healthy choice. What's really in the food is an entirely different story, and the devil's in the details. Some of what they're putting in there, they don't even have to call sugar, even though your body doesn't know the difference. That's just one of the games being played on almost every package in your kitchen. And I get it, you're not trying to eat junk. You're reaching for the protein bar, not the candy bar. You're buying the rotisserie chicken instead of ordering pizza. You're doing the things that are supposed to work, right? That's precisely why this matters, because these ingredients are showing up in the things that you trust. Before I show you 5 that work entirely against you, I want to show you something I tested myself, because this one explains how all of it's possible. But first, if you're new to my channel, here's what you need to know before any of this makes sense. After menopause, your body doesn't handle blood sugar the way it used to. Estrogen used to help your cells respond to insulin. When estrogen drops, the sensitivity drops with it. So your body pumps out more insulin to do the same job. And insulin is your #1 fat storage hormone. The more of it circulating, the longer your body stays in fat storing mode instead of fat burning mode. And that's where the menopause belly fat comes from. So every time your blood sugar spikes or stays elevated, that's real time you're storing fat instead of burning it. This is the whole reason I test how different foods affect my own blood sugar. Quick number to keep in your head, my personal target is a rise of under 40 points. Staying there keeps my fat burning switch turned on, as long as my blood sugar comes down in a reasonable amount of time. This here is a package of Sola bagels, marketed as protein bagels that won't raise your blood sugar. The front tells you 15 grams of protein, 0 added sugar. And on the back, it says, rich in prebiotic fiber, GLP-1 friendly, 4 net grams of carbs. Sounds like something a nutritionist like me would recommend. Not so fast. So I wear one of these. It's a continuous glucose monitor. It tracks my blood sugar in real time, day and night. And I tested one of these bagels. Let's take a look at that result. I started at 90 and it peaked at 125. That's a 35-point rise. Technically under my 40-point target, except the carbs in the bagel are supposed to be indigestible. On paper, they shouldn't move my blood sugar at all, but my body didn't get the memo, I guess. And the peak wasn't even the problem. Almost 3 hours later, I was still sitting at 118. That's not a rise in a recovery. That's just up. Every hour insulin stays elevated, fat burning stays suppressed. I also had a little butter on it because nobody eats a bagel dry, right? But technically without the butter, the spike would have been probably even worse. Yeah, won't be buying that one again. Just 4 grams of net carbs. Sounds solid, but what the package doesn't highlight is the 34 grams of total carbs it's legally required to list. The first ingredient is modified wheat starch. It counts as fiber, which means it gets subtracted from the carb count. Most of those 34 grams are the modified wheat starch. Subtract that out and you get the 4 grams of net carbs. That's the whole trick. It only counts as fiber because the food companies fought tooth and nail with the FDA for years until they agreed to count it, because billions of dollars in high fiber product marketing depended on that decision. So here's what that modified starch really is, because this part really gets under my skin. When a company chemically alters starch, your body supposedly can't digest it, which means it shouldn't raise your blood sugar. And they get to call that fiber. It takes up space on the ingredient list and on the nutrition label, but it does literally nothing for you nutritionally. And here's why I call it fake fiber. When the FDA set the daily recommendations for fiber long before all these lawsuits, it wasn't just about blood sugar regulation. Real fiber slows digestion, it feeds your gut bacteria, can lower cholesterol, and helps keep you full. Modified wheat starch does one of the 5 Maybe. And based on what my body just showed you, even that one's debatable. And wait until you see what else they put on the nutrition label. It says it meets 107% of your daily fiber. 107% from a nutritionally bankrupt ingredient that isn't doing at least 4 of the 5 things real fiber does for you. The only real thing going for this bagel is the 15 grams of protein, and there are 100 better ways to get 15 grams of protein that don't come attached to dietary dead weight. The Mission Carb Balanced Tortilla does the exact same thing. Modified wheat starch, second ingredient. Same subtraction math highlighted to fool you. It's not a coincidence either. Any brand that wants high protein or a low net carb claim knows which ingredients get them there. Modified starch is just one of the most common tools they reach for. And once you know what to look for, you're going to see it everywhere. But modified wheat starch isn't the only ingredient pulling this trick. This is a Fiber One bar, 9 grams of fiber. GLP friendly right there on the box. The first ingredient is chicory root extract. Chicory root is real in small amounts, and it's a real prebiotic fiber with real research behind it. But the amount it takes to hit 9 grams on the granola bar is the amount that causes bloating and gut distress, which is the last thing you need when menopause is already doing that to you on its own. And here's the irony of the year. There's a protein bar on the shelf right next to it doing the exact same trick. And the brand name is Clean, right there on the box. Make that make sense. Okay, now the fake fiber is frustrating for sure. But the next two, they really get under my skin because they're not pretending to be something else. They're just straight up hiding. Remember the rotisserie chicken ingredient list? Buried in there is maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is a highly processed carb. Its glycemic index sits between 80 and 120. Straight table sugar is only 65. So this hits your blood sugar harder than sugar, and it's not required to be listed as added sugar. No flag, no disclosure. You'd have no idea it was there unless you knew to look for it by name. I'm gonna be straight with you. This one really bugs me. And it's not just the chicken. And sure, the one marketed as a nutrition shake and doctor recommended. The second ingredient is corn maltodextrin. Before the protein, before the vitamins. Cup of Noodles has it too. And this one's a twofer. Right on the front, it says no added MSG. Sounds responsible, but maltodextrin is sitting quietly in the ingredient list. And further down, so is a preservative that comes from petroleum. The front avoids one scary word and hopes you stop reading there. But here's where the math really starts to fall apart, because some of these do show up on the label. They're just hiding inside a calculation most people don't know exists. This Special K protein meal bar has 12 grams of protein on the front. This is what women grab when they're trying to do the right thing. It's not in the candy aisle, it's in the health food aisle. Flip it over and mannitol is right there. It's a sugar alcohol, and the FDA lets sugar alcohols get fully subtracted from net carbs. So a product can claim very low net carbs while mannitol is doing its damage. Mannitol has a glycemic index around 35 to 52, not that far from table sugar. Erythritol, another sugar alcohol, is basically 0, so is stevia. The label subtracts them all the same though, but they are not the same. And then there's this one, and this may be the most counterintuitive of all 5 because it's not hiding at all. It's right there on the label and it still gets you. This is La Yogurt, probiotic right on the front. Fructose is the 4th ingredient. Fructose has a low glycemic index, so on paper, it looks perfectly safe. Your blood sugar may barely move, but fructose is really sneaky. It doesn't get processed by your body the way that other sugars do. It goes straight to your liver, and your liver converts it directly to fat. Not blood sugar fat, liver fat, which feeds directly into the visceral belly fat. The kind menopause is already sending to your midsection. If you were testing, you could look at your blood sugar numbers and think you're getting it right, but still be building a problem every single morning without a clue. The Fiber One bar I showed you earlier, fructose is in there too. Same bar, 2 different tricks. One on your gut, one on your liver. And it's not just bars and yogurt. A simple glass of orange juice can carry 20 to 25 grams of fructose with nothing in it to slow it down. No fiber, no fat, nothing. The label says no added sugar, and it's telling the truth, but it still gets you. I'm going to be pinning a comment below with the full ingredient list from this video so you don't have to memorize all of it. And if there's any ingredient you've spotted on a label and you want to know more about, ask me in the comments. I'll add the worst offenders to the pinned comments because if you're wondering, someone else is too. If you want a simple shopping rule, look for the shortest ingredient list. The fewer ingredients, the less processed. This is Bob Evans garlic mashed potatoes. Short list, real ingredients for the most part. This one is Bob Evans loaded. Same brand, same shelf, roughly 40 ingredients. Carrageenan is hiding in there, one of the same things in the chicken we started with, sitting inside what's supposed to be mashed potatoes. When I look at the loaded version and back at the chicken, it's the same story everywhere. Too many ingredients and things that should be clean and simple. That's the whole problem in one package. And as for that chicken that I bought, poor little guy died for nothing. He's going in the garbage can. You wouldn't drink water if you knew it came from a polluted river. You just didn't know the foods you trusted were the river. Now you do. The blood sugar results I shared earlier is my personal data. Yours could be different. Everyone's different. Always talk to your doctor before making changes to your diet. If you want a deep dive on the foods I ate to lose menopause belly fat and keep it off, that video is linked right here for you. I'll see you on the next one.